Welcome back to the 700 Club 500, presented by 300 the movie, returning to 900 theaters on 501. We are back here on lap 302 after a quick stoppage because all the drivers thought the race was over. It's April 18th, 2010. The NASCAR Cup Series had returned to famous Little Rock Superspeedway in Arkansas for the 700 Club 500, presented by 300 the movie, returning to 900 theaters on 501. Bob Nympho alongside my colleague and former NASCAR champion Goof Juniper. Goof, the 24 car may be in the lead, but everyone is talking about the car in second place. That's right, Bob. Rookie driver Chaser Trapp and underfunded team Mud Motorsports have that number 65 machine running 15 spots better than it's ever run in a NASCAR race. Now, most of you at home would only know Chaser Trapp for his frequent cautions that he brings out racing like a dickhead for 32nd. Well, it seems like Trapp and the rest of the Mud Motorsports gang have finally, pardon my French, pulled their heads out of their shit pipes and really shown up to race.
In the world of auto racing, engineering is king. And money is also king. There's two kings, like in Gladiator 2.
So for an impoverished family race team like Mud Motorsports, they could never even hope to get their cars into the top 15, even with the best driver in the world.
And Chaser Trapp was not that. He was a field filler, and they were a shitbox, mostly there to ride in the back, get the sponsors on TV when they got lapped, and collect the minimum share of the prize pool.
But that day, they had a hot rod.
That Chaser Trapp's got a hot rod, Bob. He took a half second off Cale Pauline's lead that lap.
But there are two lap-down cars here in turn 2 to slow him down. The 99 goes high and Trapp splits the middle. Whoa, he's lost the air on his nose. He's sideways.
Hold on to it, boy.
He saves it and clears the lappers off turn 2. That's the move of the race in the race of Chaser Trapp's life. If he can win this race, Chaser Trapp will go down in history today. And he would go down in history that day.
But not for anything he did on the track.
Hello and welcome to A Closer Look. I'm Nate Fisher.
And I'm Will Sennett.
Chaser Trapp was born on the Upper West Side on July 14, 1987. He grew up in the apartment from Rosemary's Baby. He came from money.
But not racing money. His grandfather, Von Trapp, had built a small fortune by pioneering the bar code, a list of rules that bars had to follow during the Prohibition era, like wiping down the bar and cleaning the bathroom every night. Then his father, Moss Trapp, built a massive fortune by inventing the bar code.
Chaser did not inherit the enterprising nature of his ancestors. He was, well, a bit of a dud.
Average height, weight, and looks, average grades in school. The only thing that seemed to capture his attention was his one interest, auto racing.
It was also the only interest he shared with his father. The only time Vaughn and Chaser ever bonded was on worldwide trips to historic races like the Monaco Grand Prix.
The glitz and prestige of the most famous Formula One tracks like Monaco, Imola, and Monza, combined with the sleek precision of those open-wheel cars, was like nothing Chaser had ever seen.
And he threw it all away to go run NASCAR.
When Chaser turned 18, he was informed by his father that he would not be given control of the family company when the time came. Not only that, he wouldn't even be given a job, or any of the fortune. Vaughn told his assistant to look up what the median national salary was in America, and gave that to Chaser every year.
So, with enough money to pay rent and absolutely zero career prospects, Chaser tried to become a race car driver. The only racing that Chaser had access to in America was NASCAR, and Chaser loved the idea. The hyper-masculine blue-collar sport was the perfect way for his son to rebel against his father's domineering ways and his elitist girly Euro racing.
Chaser cobbled together some sponsorships from his friend's dad's businesses and ran local Northeast short tracks between 2006 and 2008. Here's an interview with Chaser after his first event in the very dregs of minor league auto racing.
You know, it's always been my dream to run this race. The Rodney's Discount Donkeys 100 is one of the most prestigious races in rural Maryland, and you know, I really wanted to win those 5 donkeys that go to the top 3 finishers, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with my performance.
Well, Chaser, some of your competitors are unhappy with you. I saw you arguing with Runt Thimble after the lap 55 caution. Do you have any insight as to what happened when you turned right going into turn 1 and took out 5 of the 9 other cars in the field behind you?
Yeah, you know, you have to remember I grew up in New York. I don't have a driver's license. Today was my first time driving a car, period. So if you look at it through that lens, not bad. Despite wrecking nearly every race or finishing in the bottom 3, Chaser was able to move up the ranks fairly quickly, jumping from team to team, leaving the previous ones bankrupt after destroying their cars.
After talking to some of his previous owners, we were able to surmise that, despite not being on speaking terms with his father, Chaser would always heavily imply to teams that he had a great relationship with his dad, and that coming in of potential family money made up for Chaser's lack of skill, experience, or baseline competency behind the wheel.
Yeah, I hate it for our sponsors, Hackensack Zoom Repair, Mike Allstott's Coffee Emporium, the Closer Look Patreon, go check it out. Necco Wafers. But the Trapp family is definitely trying to increase our presence in racing, get some barcodes on some cars, so hope to be back at Sandusky Speedway next time.
He continued to climb the minor league system in 2008, racing in the NASCAR Chef Boyardee Truck Series. And then in 2009, while racing for Money McDonald's FBG Motorsports, he got his best career finish of 26th. A lot of wrecks in that race.
In 2010, the sponsorship carousel found him landing at Mud Motorsports. 100 laps to go in the 700 Club 500, presented by 300, the movie, returning to 900 theaters on 501. Just going to say it again, 100. And the leaders are hitting pit road. After this stop, they should be able to make it to the end on one more stop for fuel, so business is picking up. I'm worried about that Mud Motorsports pit crew for Chaser Trapp. They're slower than opera soprano Maria Callas taking her third curtain call at the end of La Traviata. Trapp gets down to pit road speed cleanly as he hits his stall. 4 tires and fuel is the call from crew chief, lead engineer, team owner, and sometimes driver, Ecksman Mud. And he's off. 14 seconds, goddamn. An uncharacteristically incredible stop by them boys. One of them is Ecksman Mud's granddaughter, and one of the fuel men is an old man in a wheelchair. And I'm not talking he can play basketball. I'm talking no arms and legs, moving around by hooting in a straw. The gap from Trapp to leader Cale Paulina is closed to 1.2 seconds as the Mud Motorsports pit crew celebrates. Look at Ecksman Mud jumping up and down. He is lighting a gigantic cigar and going over to hug the fuel man. Oh, look out, he's on fire. Yep, that's about what we thought would happen. And the NASCAR officials are running over with buckets of sand as Ecksman and the fueler roll on the ground together. Ecksman Mud had been part of the furniture of NASCAR for decades.
But not an important piece of furniture like a bed or even a couch. He was more like the bad coffee table that you're always banging your shin against and it's slightly bent so any drink you put on it slides off very slowly.
He entered professional racing in 1989 at the age of 40, or at least tried to.
That's right, I failed to qualify for any of the 3 races I entered in 1989. First time at Rockingham, I went out for my qualifying lap, crossed the start-finish line, and a king-size Butterfinger wrapper got stuck to my grill. My engine temp shot up 100 degrees, and we blew up on the back stretch.
No sport is affected by fan participation as much as NASCAR is in the form of littering. It is incredibly common in NASCAR for trash to get stuck to the grill of the cars as they drive by the grandstands.
40 cars going 190 miles an hour in a circle creates a vortex of wind and garbage, and a beer can to the radiator or a trash bag on the grill can blow up a $500,000 car.
We got bit by the trash vampire a lot. The second race up at Pocono, they call that the tricky triangle. It was especially tricky for me, and I ran over a Bionicle in turn 3, and my right front tire blew right out. Crazy thing about that was 12 years before Bionicles went into production, so this was the prototype Bionicle. I guess the inventor, Alistair Swinnerton, had pitched the idea to Lego, whose headquarters at that point was deep in the Pocono Mountains. They laughed him out of the room, so he came next door to catch some of the race. Third time was, where was that? That was up in Dover, Delaware. That one was just rained out, and I was last in points, so I DNQ'd.
Oh, that's just bad luck.
No, I think that was kind of on me, too. I did a rain dance all morning. Cannot for the life of me remember why.
Ecksman tried for most of the 90s to solidify himself as a driver, but after years of failure, the writing was on the wall. And eventually, he hung up the helmet and moved into a purely ownership position.
And Mud Motorsports has seen their 1999 Daytona 500 come to an early end as the number 65 Fridge Blankets Chevrolet's hood has flown up. Hal Burton could not see and drove right into the 77. Owner Ecksman Mudd is furious at crew chief Ecksman Mudd. He kind of runs everything over there, and he is having a big argument with himself up on the pit box.
That's right, Bob. He keeps taking his cowboy hat off and throwing it on the ground. Then he takes 2 steps to the left and throws his crew chief hat on the ground, and he picks him up and does it again while the whole team watches.
Well, there's a lot of smoke in the 65 car. They should get Hal Burton out of there before he suffocates.
But back in 2010 at the 700 Club 500 presented by 300 the movie returning to 900 theaters on 501, Mudd's driver wasn't unconscious. He was racing.
80 to go, and while Chaser Trapp has taken the lead, we've got a special guest here in the booth, Arkansas Senator $7.
Well, howdy, Bob Nympho, and let me tell you what, I just love coming down here to Little Rock Super Speedway.
A 7, what do you think of the race that young Chaser Trapp is running?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, and I'd like to think I'm capable of that, I've always detested underdog stories. I like when things are extremely predictable. I like to see the light get squeezed out of the eyes of all those who try to rise above their stations. I like stations. Success is not something that's given or earned. Success is simply a product and should only be able to be purchased with boatloads of money.
Sure.
$7 came from money and made a lot more of it. He went to Duke University on a legacy scholarship, but nevertheless played basketball for 4 years where he was their resident evil white guy.
Instead of having friends, he spent his college downtime working on starting his company and his path to world domination. That path would be paved with government contracts and a monopoly on a particular cornerstone of the U.S. education system.
Well, don't y'all just love that beautiful recorder? What a delightful sound. Now, I, of course, am not that musical, so I didn't do a very good job. But imagine 34th graders playing that and how much better it would sound.
$7 had made it his mission to put recorders in the hands of every elementary school student in America and get every other instrument banned.
$7 had recently put 5,000 West Virginians out of work when he successfully lobbied to close the harp factories built during the New Deal. With all the other instruments out of the way, $7 had cornered the music class market.
With the billions he acquired in the recorder contracts, Seven was able to quickly ascend in the world of politics, winning a seat in the Arkansas Senate in 2004. And as of 2010, both his popularity and infamy were on the rise.
He was a regular fixture at Tea Party rallies outside state houses. He would show up dressed like a composite of every famous president. Stovepipe hat, powdered wig, wooden teeth, frilly shirt, blanket, wheelchair. And he would shoot cap guns at state officials that they thought were real, and then he would point and laugh.
Well, gee, I feel like I gotta get down there and cheer on K.O. Pauline in that 24 car. He's a close personal on account of the fact that I'm friends with whoever Vegas says is the favorite in every sport.
Well, then boys are going to need a caution if they want to catch Chaser Trapp.
Oh, I'll see what I can do. Just kidding.
Well, thank you to Senator Bucks for joining us as he walks away, wiggling his fingers, and around goes the 22 of Laura Jennings. It seemed like it was struck suddenly by blue lightning, but that is, of course, impossible. This caution meant that every team would pit for tires, and Mudd Motorsports would need to have the best pit stop of their careers to even stand a chance at beating the big teams.
But on top of the pit box, Ecksman Mudd was calm.
All right, which one of you shits is going to blow it for us this pit stop? Chaser, why don't you go ahead and miss the pit stall? Then, Bobby, you spill a bunch of gas on yourself and light the pit box on fire. And then, Jolene, you miss 3 lug nuts on the wheel, so when Chaser speeds up, the wheel flies off and hits me in the head and I get knocked the fuck out. This is fucking bullshit. 10-4.
Oh, sorry, that was a typo. He was completely losing his shit. Look, Nate, see there's a line break in the middle of calm and pleatly, so it looks like it just says calm.
How do you spell calm?
But Ecksman had no reason for pessimism because the Mudd Motorsports team pulled off the pit stop of a lifetime.
Chaser Trapp is in his pit box for 4 tires and fuel. Clean changes on the right side as K.O. Pauline hits his pit box. The best crew all year goes to work.
No problems on the left side of Chaser Trapp. I think they got it.
12.9 seconds. Sensational stop for Chaser Trapp's crew as there's trouble on the 24 car. Cale Pauline's tire changers have run head-on into each other like two rams trying to get laid.
They're on the ground rubbing their helmets. This is going to cost them a ton of time.
Chaser Trapp won the battle off pit road as his closest competition, Cale Pauline, fell to 18th.
But in a moment of situational irony that proves how badass and good of writers we is, it was Ecksman Mudd's mistake that would doom them.
Bob, Chaser Trapp's in trouble. He's got something on his grill.
That would be a cereal box. Looks to me like Apple Jacks.
Oh, yes, that's right. There's that famous Jamaican stick.
That could be massive trouble for the 65 car. With the grill covered, his engine temps are already climbing, and if he can't get it off, that could blow his engine on the restart. How did that get there? This is odd to say, but Ecksman Mudd loved littering.
I love littering.
He would say that a lot. He fancied himself an outlaw. But as a serious businessman with high professional aspirations, he couldn't get his rocks off in the usual ways. So he decided to wage a low-stakes war on the world through the minor crime of strewing trash about wherever he went.
He started off small, disposing of candy wrappers and straws on sidewalks, but as his lust grew for outlaw status, so did the scope of his crime.
He adopted a highway 3 miles off of I-75 and set out to make it the dirtiest mile of road in the state of Georgia.
He would drive garbage from his office 50 miles away and chuck it out the window.
One rumor said that while drunk, he had done a Brinks truck-style heist on a garbage truck and stolen a bunch of trash to strew about on the highway.
But soon his desire for outlaw status became a compulsion, and in the most high-pressure moment of his racing career, the itch became too powerful not to scratch, and he littered at the exact wrong moment. Are you struggling with motivation?
Or maybe you are motivated, but you just don't have the time.
There's plenty of options out there to help you with these problems. Pharmaceuticals, time management strategies, or perhaps the ever-so-popular classic option, the energy drink.
Energy drinks are great. They're cheap, available everywhere, and they taste great.
But what about the jobs that are too big for a Red Bull? Tasks that not even a monster can tame.
That's where we come in. We can help you, stranger, but you must come to us.
We are in the gas station, in the back and down a ladder, through the looking glass, across the Rubicon, to a place where the faint of heart dare not go.
You might be asking, what gas station? Ha 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 ha.
All gas stations.
You must go to the counter and say these exact words to the attendant. www.thug.com, and he will lead you to us and our wares.
We sell an energy drink too. It's called Locked Tin.
It doesn't come in a can. It comes in a locked tin, thus the name. Inside of it is some liquid for you.
It's not technically liquid. It only appears to us as that because it knows that it is within the scope of what our mortal minds can comprehend.
The only way to unlock the tin is to get the key. Who has the key?
Go back to the gas station attendant. He possesses it and will only give it to you if you speak the password, which is
www.thug.com.
The same password as before.
He will ask you if this is your first or second time saying it.
This is a test. If you say it's your second time, you will be sent to the realm of the forgotten.
So you say it is your first, and he will start to lead you back down to us like he did the first time.
You need to push back and like wink and stuff and inflect your voice to let him know that you're kidding.
Well, not kidding, you see. This is serious business.
Yes, my apologies, Darth Will. This is quite serious, so you might need to force the issue.
The gas station attendants do not necessarily want to do this. They merely got a memo from their boss put up in the break room.
All they know is that they have big rusty keys they have to give you, and if they see the two guys in cloaks in their basement, don't chit-chat. So once that is complete, you have the key.
Or should we say, the first half of the key?
Yes, we have the second half of the key. We needed to test to ensure that you were worthy of our potion.
So now you need to come back down to us.
Which will require you to again say to the attendant,
www.thug.com.
And he will ask you for a third time, is this your first or second time? It's the same test as before. If you say it's your second time, the realm of the forgotten.
Do not say it is your third time if you say third.
We don't even know where you go. They won't tell us, but it's bad.
So say first again. And when he starts to lead you back down to us, do not correct him, just go with it.
And when you get back down to us, we will know that you have pleased us.
And thus,
you will reap your rewards. The second half of the key to the locked tin.
And when it greets your lips, it will turn you into a being of infinite potential.
It will shed your soul of all pathetic human needs and desires.
Yeah, it pretty much just makes you act really mean and rude, which theoretically will make you lose all your friends.
And theoretically, that frees a ton of your time to, read a bunch or work on your business. Your friends are sapping your time and energy, so this helps you push them away.
You guys have seen Whiplash, you know what we mean.
We took it, and we lost all our friends.
Except each other.
Guess we're not really friends then.
Oh well, that's fine with me.
Long as them Patreon checks keep coming in.
Yes sir, yes sir.
There's Ecksman Mudd with a spoon and some milk in his beard. He is not a happy camper.
They're gonna go green next time, and that cereal box is still on there.
Ecksman had been eating Apple Jacks out of the box. He would pour a bunch of milk in the box and eat it in that like it was a cup of noodles. Then he would litter.
In his fervor over the race's key pit stop, he flung the soggy box down and into the path of Chaser Trapp's number 65 car, where it promptly got real stuck to the grill. And with 30 laps to go, coming down pit road again to get it off would be race ending. 30 to go at Little Rock. Green flag. The Applejack's box is still on the 65 as they dive into turn 1.
Temps real hot. Smell cinnamon.
And in classic guy who just fucked up really bad fashion, Ecksman Mudd was not acknowledging the situation in hopes that it would just all work out.
Hello? Hello?
Oh no! There goes the engine on the 65. What a shame. On a day when it seemed like Chaser Trapp was destined to win his first ever Cup Series race, he was betrayed by the Jamaican Cinnamon Stick Man, as we will all be one day. He's going to have to ride the apron of the track all the way around through turns 3 and 4. No caution since he got off the track in time, but he'll take it straight to the garage. His day is done. But his day was far from done.
The cockpit filled with delicious-smelling smoke as Chaser Trapp hit pit road.
The infield at a NASCAR track is always a maze of garages, people, equipment, giant RVs, and more. It's difficult to get a car through there under normal circumstances, let alone when you've just suffered gut-wrenching humiliation and you can't see.
So Chaser Trapp couldn't see what was unfolding a couple rows of RVs over.
Ouch! Chaser Trapp hit the scoring tower. It is bent now. He better be careful. He's only a few yards away from Senator $7. Hold on a second. Who's that? On the other side of the infield, one of the RVs was moving towards the garage. An all-black RV with tinted windows and no license plates, no identifying markers other than the flag of Switzerland.
The all-black RV screeches to a halt. Out of it pours 10 men in tactical gear, sporting SIG SG-550 assault rifles with thermal scopes and suppressors. They move as one, in the Swiss Army's official tactical movement method. The leader up front, 2 of his squad mates right behind him to his left and right, 3 in a line behind them, and 4 in the back. They stop 50 yards from Victory Lane where $7 was currently holding court. They raise their rifles, just as they are about to fire upon the potential future president.
Oh my God, they've got their guns drawn on Senator Bucks.
I can't see shit, and I'm choking to death. Whatever, I'm gonna fucking floor it.
He got him! He got them all! Chaser Trapp just ran over those assassins. My God! 15-car pileup on the backstretch, but who cares? The race has been red flagged and everyone is swarming to Victory Lane.
Chaser Trapp is hoisted out of the car. He still doesn't know what's going on.
He looks down and sees 10 blonde, ponytailed men lying on the ground. He expects to be taken into custody, but is instead hoisted up by the crowd. They take him over to Senator Seven Bucks, who embraces the man who just saved his life. News cameras swarm.
Get over here, boy. Get a load of this hero. I tell you, the race today ain't worth a hill of shit for what happened just now. Mr. Driver here, you just saved my life.
Chaser, or Senator Bucks, how do you feel? I'm seeing Cinnamon, to be honest. I don't know what's going on.
You see how those terrorists, they were lined up like bowling pins right before you came right down the lane.
Is that what happened, Chaser? You feel like a bowling ball? Wow, yeah, I guess I bowled them up.
You hear that, America? He said, blow them up.
Yep, sure. Blow them up.
That's right. Any foreign nation that has any problem with $7 has a problem with America. And if you do, we say, blow them up. Blow them up.
Blow them up! Blow them up! Blow them up! Blow them up!
Well, as the crowd chants something, the race has been completely abandoned, like they just left all the cars on the track. We'll be right back with the Victory Lane presentation for some idiot driver, plus a long talk with our real winner, Chaser Trapp. Chaser Trapp had no idea what he had just said.
But he would know pretty soon. Within 24 hours, the phrase blow them up had taken the nation by storm. It was already on t-shirts, hats, bumper stickers.
But this was the most oxygen it had ever had. Before that day, it was associated with $7, and associated quite negatively.
Here's $7 explaining his infamous platform on Around the Horn.
Imagine a world where everyone speaks the same language, uses the same money, and has the same culture, like their kids all play recorders in school. Doesn't that sound like a utopia? And the only way throughout history that people have gotten others to do what they want is to blow them up. So that's what we gotta do. Blow them up. Blow them up. Stop taking points away, Tony. I'm at -50.
That all sounds like an elaborate smokescreen to distract from the fact that you can't argue why Kurt Warner is a Hall of Famer. I'm Bill Plaschke, by the way.
Jay Mariotti, what are your thoughts?
I've been saying all that war stuff on here for 20 years. Does nobody listen to me?
$7 had been saying blow them up every single day since he was elected to the Senate. It was his answer to everything. His foreign policy, his personal beliefs, his dinner order.
The actual explanation of blow them up was hard to pin down, but it usually involves $7 choosing a country to invade at random out of a big bingo ball thing randomized to, quote, keep the world on their toes.
For most of 2010, he was fixated on Switzerland. He had pulled their ball out of his big bingo thing on live TV and was visibly disappointed that it wasn't a Middle Eastern country, but he acted like he had meant it and ran with Switzerland being the great enemy.
At first, Switzerland, as always, was just excited to get in the mix. But $7 began raising private armies and using CIA funds to buy weapons en masse. He even hosted a 24-hour telethon on the Bravo channel, which he thought was named after the military alphabet.
Welcome back to Blow Them Phones Up, our 24-hour telethon on the Bravo network. Boy, I just love that name. Thank you to the Village people for that wonderful rendition of In the Navy. Now we got a very special guest joining us. It's NASCAR Cup Series driver Cale Pauline.
And award-nominated screenwriter.
Oh, that's right. What's that you won? You won the North America Script.
No, the Upper Peninsula Screenwriting and Self-Published Ebook Competition Award for Original Screenplay. And I was a finalist.
But you're very good at NASCAR.
Oh yeah, I'm a back-to-back champion.
And you're here because you love what we're doing at Bravo Tango Uniform. That's blow them up in civvy talk. You directly endorse all of it.
Well, to be honest, sir, I thought that this was like a telethon for, like, sick kids.
Oh, there will be sick kids, because we're raising money for war. And not just any war, extrajudicial war.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting a call from my literary agent. I'll just have to step outside real quick.
Sure, you go right on ahead and step outside. We'll just keep fielding calls from Bravo viewers here. Now, if you're calling in, I'd like y'all to stop asking me who my favorite drag queen is. I'm more into oval racing than drag racing, and none of the racers are queens. Unless we're talking about Jeff Gordon.
You can tell from Cale Pauline's reaction that before the assassination attempt, $7 was the most controversial politician in the country.
But with the attempt on his life and potential declaration of war by Switzerland, $7 and his catchphrase, blow them up, exploded to unprecedented popularity in just 72 hours.
Nobody knew who Chaser Trapp and Mud Motorsports were on Saturday, but by the end of Sunday, they were right alongside $7 as the most talked about people in America.